I bet almost all of you, my friends, have experienced at least once what is it to be a square peg in a round hole, to fall out of your identity and to go searching for a new one. My name is Mykola Didok. I'm a Belarusian writer and political activist, and today I'll share with you my impressions of Barack Obama's first book, Dreams from My Father. Let's go! Most of us know Barack Obama as the first black president of the US. But what stands beyond this title? The book was published in 1995, a few years after Obama graduated from Harvard Law School. The narrative itself is strictly divided into three parts. The first one is about Obama's childhood on the move, early life in Hawaii, then Seattle, then Indonesia, and then Hawaii again. The second is the story of his work as a community organizer in Chicago. And the third is about his trip to Kenya, where he tried to sort out his identity and figure out where he belongs. And this is the pivotal idea of the book. It looks like Obama never fully dedicated himself to the black community and, despite many opportunities, did not dive headfirst into black struggles. That gave some of his critics a reason to speculate that he wasn't black enough. He was a Christian, even though many black activists he knew were Muslim. And unlike many black activists, he never made the race his primary motivation in politics. But he also didn't fit into the American white middle class simply because his father was a black Kenyan. He was born in a state that joined the USA only 2 years before his birth, and spent part of his childhood studying Quran in a local school in Muslim-majority Indonesia. In such circumstances, the question, who am I, is not an easy one to answer, right? What was of particular interest to me is Obama's emphasis on racial relationships in the US. Here, for my viewers from the USA, I need to stress that Belarus, where I was born and raised, is a racially homogeneous country. The majority of the population identifies as Belarusian, and of course they are white. The largest ethnic minorities are Russians, Ukrainians, and Poles, who are also white and Christian. The only historical minorities who could be considered non-white are the Tatars and the Roma people, but together they constitute less than 0.2% of the Belarusian population. In Belarus, you see very few people of different skin colors on the street, and it has been so throughout our history. Thus, for us, a black or Asian person still feels quite exotic. The overwhelming majority of them live in Belarus temporarily and are not so deeply integrated into society. So for me, it was fascinating to look at the world of interracial relationships through Obama's eyes, to see what happens when a huge part of your country's population shares the painful history of slavery, a heritage that still poisons society. There were several generations of Americans who struggled to put individual merit and Christian morality above skin color, and they succeeded to a great extent. But even today, both in public and personal relationships, things that we Eastern Europeans probably wouldn't even notice, such as slang word, an accent, an assumption about someone's habits, still matter deeply in the US. Discovering this felt eye-opening to me. And the other thing that moved me was Obama's story of service, or maybe I should say ministry, in a Chicago Housing Authority, CHA, public housing project on the far south side of Chicago, where 97% of the residents are African American. As a political activist with more than 20 years of experience, I know firsthand what it is like to build collectives and invest your hopes in people. I know what it is like to constantly try to spark enthusiasm, only to see that people don't respond to your efforts at all. I know what it means to deal with depressed and disillusioned people. It is the shortest route to burnout. And still, you never give up. Whatever you do, it's never going to be enough. Try anyway. That's the pattern Obama shows. And it gives its fruit. Let me quote a few sentences. As we prepared for our meeting with the CHA director, I began to see something wonderful happening. The parents began talking about ideas for future campaigns. New parents got involved. The block-by-block canvas we'd planned earlier was put into effect, with Linda and her swollen belly waddling door-to-door to collect complaint forms. Mr. Lucas, unable to read the forms himself, explaining to neighbors how to fill them out properly. Even those who'd opposed our efforts began to come around. Mrs. Rees agreed to co-sponsor the event, and Reverend Johnson allowed some of his members to make an announcement at Sunday service. It was as though Sadie's small, honest step had broken into a reservoir of hope, allowing people in Altgeld to reclaim a power they had all along. To sum up, if you need hope, this book is going to be useful for you. If you need inspiration and courage to deal with your complex heritage, this book is going to be useful for you. Thank you for watching. I will be happy if you subscribe to my channel, and please remember, the way to liberation is through the library. Mykola Didok was with you. See you soon.